Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jetsetting full ship tour. Today we are back on board the Disney Dream for our second cruise on board this amazing ship. She was the first of her class and launched in 2011 and about 1,115 feet long, 40% bigger than the earlier Magic and Wonder ships. She looks amazing out of dry dock, so if you're watching this video excited for the amazing food, the awesome water slides, or just all the fun entertainment on board, this is the video for you. We're going to give you a full tour from top to bottom of the Disney Dream. So we're going to start our tour here on deck 13 forward, and this is Satellite Falls. So Satellite Falls is a little secret adults only pool. And this is one of the areas that we've seen a lot of changes already in the dry dock that happened in late 2024. And this area that I'm going to pop the camera above is actually the concierge sun deck. And that's been expanded out all the way to the edge of the ship. It used to be just in the middle part of this deck. So the concierge lounge is one deck below, and then that leads up to this level up here. I didn't have concierge level this trip, unfortunately, so I'm not able to show you those areas in more detail, but just know that those do exist, and there's less public space for the rest of the ship now after the dry dock. But I do love the name Satellite Falls because it's a pool that is located around one of the ship's satellites. A very funny name, but it is adults only, a very private area, and I feel like this is a secret spot on board the Disney Dream. This is also a fun place to go during sail away because you have these great forward-facing views off of the ship and lots of private sun chairs and shade, which is really nice. And while you used to be able to wrap around here and head aft, now you hit a dead end because that's where the concierge lounge is expanded into. That wooden box to the left hosts towels, and sometimes people can't find the towels because they don't just leave them out on Disney Cruise Line. They're always hidden from view, and it's just a little bit more of an elegant feel, and you'll notice that throughout this vessel. It is a very luxury feeling ship. So as we make our way aft on 13, there's not a lot to this deck. It's really just forward, as well as inside of the funnel is the new Dream Suite. This is where Vibe used to be for the teens. It was kind of a hidden area. And they've moved that into the edge section of the ship that we'll see in a few minutes. And in keeping with the theme of the ship, it is themed to Fantasia. So if you're lucky enough to book one of those, you have all that fun theming to look forward to. The Dream Suite has its own elevator that you can call with your Magic Band, so that's pretty cool as well. And so now we'll come across our first bar here on 13. It is called Currents. It's a very fancy feeling bar outdoors. It's a big sunset spot for people because it's pretty high up on the ship. Pretty typical menu here, no fancy themed cocktails, but it does have nice views of the ocean as well as that funnel suite. And directly below, you can see the other adults only pool on the Disney Dream. It is the Quiet Cove pool. And that's one amazing thing about the Disney Dream that a lot of people don't realize is that they have amazing adults only areas. Some of the best, I think, in the entire Disney fleet in this class. So if you're a Disney adult and you're thinking of booking a Disney cruise, consider the Disney Dream. If you'd like help planning that vacation, we can plan it here at Jackson Jetsetting. You can reach out to jacksonjetsetting.com/book to receive a free quote on a Disney cruise. So here we're exiting the family zone on deck 12, and this is located near that funnel that features the Dream Tower Suite. And as you notice, you have Donald Duck's legs sticking out of there. That's because his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, designed the AquaDuck, which is the ship's water slide. It's actually a water coaster. It goes uphill, and it's a lot of fun, a very popular activity on board. And this was the first ship to feature this type of water slide. The Fantasy, which is the sister ship of the Dream, also features it, and the Wish has built upon that with its own attraction featuring Mickey, Minnie, and the gang. So it's definitely fun to have a little story, kind of a mini attraction here. And here is a look at a full run of the AquaDuck, shot by yours truly. So it's kind of part water slide, part lazy river. Starts out very exciting. You actually go over the edge of the ship with these clear acrylic tubes, which is pretty cool. And then you start going uphill, and then you end up going downhill for a bit, and then uphill once again through the funnel, which is pretty exciting. There's some cool lights that happen, and then you kind of enter the lazy river portion where it's a little bit more gentle, a little bit slower. It's not too long of a ride. And the lines can get a little long. I recommend people waiting in line maybe when the ship is in port. That's going to be your best chance of a reduced wait. Or riding it at nighttime during the nights that it's open. It's open typically until 10 p.m. on certain nights, which is pretty fun. And you got a nice preview of the pool deck from that on-ride footage. But the pool deck is multifunctional on board the Disney Dream. Both the Donald and Mickey pools can actually become flush with the deck above and create just a full deck environment. for people to enjoy dance parties and different stage shows that happen up here. Your big sail away party is a big event. Pirate night has a big event up here. So it's pretty cool that the deck may change depending on the time of day that you're out there. We'll get another look at the pool deck when we make our way to deck 11. So here's the exit to the AquaDuck. So you don't have to carry an inner tube up through the funnel. They have an automated system, which is really great. Like most water slides, it is a pretty slow loader. So just keep that in mind when you get in line. I waited about 15-20 minutes and wasn't too bad of a wait. It has nice views over the edge of the ship, but just pack your patience a little bit during certain times. And during high winds, they may actually require double riders. Our second bar on the tour is Waves, and it's going to have a similar menu to Currents. It's going to be located here, a little bit more tucked away, has some nice booth seating as well. And I like the wood of this bar, it just kind of gives me that surfer feel, which is really fun. A fun feature for all the kids is the Mickey slide. This is the big yellow slide held up by Mickey's hand himself. So you do have to be a certain height to ride as well as under a certain height to ride. So just keep that in mind. Most adults can't really ride with their kiddos. And you'll notice a lot of deck chairs on this deck. So I always felt there was plenty of deck space. The only time it really got crowded was on the sea days later in the afternoon. And don't be a seat saver. Don't come out super early and drop a book on a chair and come back in a few hours. Actually use the space. I do like how all of the cast members here on the Disney Dream leave out a nice towel already for you here on one of the chairs. It's just another little touch that I really love about the Disney ships. Now we're making our way back on the other side of the family zone, and you can see the funnel puddle. And so the funnel puddle is going to be a kid pool. And I always kind of laugh at this because it is a big family area here with one of the pools aimed at some of the little kids with a little Donald Duck hat and a fountain going on. But this is going to be right next to the adults area. But I feel like everyone can kind of commingle in peace. They do have this nice barrier up not to disturb the adults below. So while we look at Mickey's slide one last time, we will head up to deck 13 again, but aft this time to go visit Goofy's sports deck. So you have Goofy's sports court right here. This is where basketball, maybe some volleyball games are going on at certain times. They always have some different events going on there. And then you have the mini golf course on board the Disney Dream, which is pretty fun. So Goofy has set up this golf course with his son Max, and it's 9 holes, really a fun little diversion for the whole family. It's very highly themed, very Disney, so I absolutely love seeing this on board. Throughout this area, there's also a few gaming tables like some foosball as well as ping pong. There's also one upcharge attraction here. This is Goofy's Sports Simulators. So you can play soccer, baseball, football, and a number of other sports on this fun simulator. You have to book that well in advance on your cruise on the app. You can see a full video of what to book before your cruise and when up on my channel, and I'll put a link down below. Now down below on deck 12, we'll begin another adults-only area on the ship. This is where the adults-only specialty dining, Palo, as well as Remy are, and the Meridian Bar. Now the Meridian Bar is going to be the highest in cocktail bar on board the ship. It's really fancy in the evenings when it's typically open. They do beverage events here as well, like whiskey tastings. It's just got a very nautical and upscale feel. And I like all of the different languages of welcomes that are embedded in the bar here. So it's really a nice looking bar. On the starboard side is Palo, which is a classic Disney adult dining venue. It's Italian food. It's very, very upscale and well worth your visit. They have a prefix menu for $50 and an a la carte menu, so you can actually come out of there spending less than $50 if you just get a main or maybe a salad. But it's got a Venetian theme to it. As you walk in, you see lots of scenes from Venice, some of the gondolier sticks that they use for steering the gondolas that are the handles for the wine cellar there. And so I do recommend that you select one evening if you can here in Palo, and again, it's adults only. Now we'll cross by the Meridian Bar again and head to the port side of the ship where the elegant Remy restaurant is. Now we didn't dine there on this voyage, but we have dined here in the past. It's got an amazing Art Nouveau theme to it, and it's got some light Remy from Ratatouille theming. This is going to be your 5-6 course amazing meal that's going to be styled in like that Michelin star dining that you find on land in only some of the most amazing restaurants. But they do offer a dessert experience in here as well as a brunch, so you can access this room for a little bit less than what a typical dinner might run. I do recommend dining here as well, and do look out for those small Disney details because there are a lot of them in this restaurant, like Remy watching over you. But down on deck 11, just below this area, is Cabanas, which is going to have a Finding Nemo theme. And Cabanas is going to have 2 different entrances, and as you enter, it feels like you're actually entering an old-style cabana at the beach. And you'll notice a lot of theming here, both on the ceiling and on all of the walls. On the poles, they did a really amazing job of making this feel really fun. Now, this is a very busy area of the ship when it's open for meals, and there are 2 sides, and typically it's going to be the exact same ingredients on either side. So just keep that in mind. If you find one busy area, keep moving aft, and you may find a similar station with all the same food that you want, with less of a line or no line at all. I don't miss the embarkation lunch here. They have very high-end seafood like crab. So it's just a very elegant area, and you have this awesome mosaic that's all hand done of the Finding Nemo characters. There's also clocks on the wall noting all the different times for the Disneyland parks around the world, as well as all of these sandcastle designs from all of the castles around the world, so it fits into the theme perfectly. It's very, very fun. Palm trees in this section as we make our way to the very aft part of the ship. And there is a small outdoor section for eating around here. It's got great wake views, which is probably my favorite view of the ship. If I could have a cabin overlooking the wake of the ship on every single voyage, I would be a happy camper. And this area is always a popular one, especially when the weather's nice or if you're sailing like we were. There is a coffee bar in this section as well, so you can order coffees, and there's some bar seating as well, so a lot of people don't know about that. I would head back here if the seating is a little busy when you come in for your meal. They even have a full bar back here as well, so if you need a cocktail or something at lunch, you can go and grab that, or maybe a mimosa at breakfast to celebrate the day. So now we'll make our way through the rest of the buffet, and I'll see you up front. So here is one newer addition, though not from this dry dock. It's Vanellope's Sweets Shop, and it's themed to Wreck-It Ralph and the characters from that. It's got a fun theme because it is a candy-themed game that they were in, so it's naturally the upcharge candy shop on board. They have some amazing gelatos, and they have different cookies and baked goods. I do recommend stopping in here. We stopped in and had an amazing, reasonably priced upcharge dessert, so it's a fun little treat at least one time during the voyage. Now we've made our way to the pool deck. There are 2 bars on the pool deck as well, serving beers on tap as well as different cocktails, so you're never without that here on the Disney ships. Noted that the Disney ships do not sell a drink package. That's one big difference from a lot of the other cruise ships. You want to keep it a family-friendly environment while still providing you, alcoholic beverages and things like that. I think it keeps things very calm, very family-friendly, which I do enjoy. There's also a small splash pool for the kids with a glass bottom, which is pretty fun. And that's located over here just on the starboard side of the vessel. And you can grab your kids' life preservers right here as well. Those are all complimentary, and plenty of seating for a lot of the restaurants that are available here on deck 11. But right inside in this area is called Who's Its and What's Its. It's a beach-themed shop. Got all of your sunscreens and things like that you can buy here right off of the pool deck. But that leads to Flo's V8 Cafe. There's a number of different counter service restaurants here. You have Luigi's Pizza, serving 4 different types of pizza. You have Tomato's Grill, is where you can get your hot dogs, cheeseburgers. They can do grilled cheeses as well. And then you also have the new addition here after the dry dock, Ramon's Cantina. This always had a line, and it is absolutely delicious. You have tacos, things like that, very high quality food. And then Fillmore's favorites, which is salads, fruit bowls, that sort of thing. And you do have a condiment station that has all of your different salsas and toppings for any burgers available. Now, just beyond that is going to be the adults only area once again. This is the pool that we saw from above at the beginning of our tour. So they do have the Quiet Cove bar here. And so it's not a swim up bar, but there are stools that are above the water that you can sit in. I think some of the newer ships may include like a swim up bar, but that's just the design that they had back in the day. Another look up at Currents that we started our tour at. And inside this area is going to be Senses Spa, and it's also going to feature the fitness center. So there are a number of different areas that you can do treatments in. So you have a full barbershop, a salon for doing pedicures and manicures. And then probably the most popular area here is the rainforest room. So the rainforest room is going to feature different steam rooms, saunas. It's all co-ed, which is really nice. And they have an outdoor area with 2 hot tubs, as well as some of those stone loungers that are just so popular. Lots of different showers here as well. So that's all an extra charge. It's not free to use, unfortunately. You can buy day passes, or you can buy a pass for the entire cruise. I've never bought one on a Disney ship just because there's so much to do on board. But if you're looking for a relaxation experience, this is definitely a good place to start. And I always shoot these spa tours on embarkation day, a little inside baseball. So apologies for not all of the smoothness that I normally have in the other shots of this video. But also there is the fitness center, which is free to use for everyone on board. It's open from about 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. And it's a decent size for the ship. There's plenty of different exercise racks and equipment available to use. And so back outside here in the adults only area, you do have a small hot tub that is sort of an infinity edge hot tub overlooking the edge of the ship, which is really fun. And then the Cove Cafe, which is one of my favorite areas on the ship because they have amazing specialty coffees. So this isn't included in your voyage, though a lot of non-alcoholic beverages are on board Disney. Specialty coffees are not. So you do have a bar here, and it turns into kind of a whiskey bar in the evenings, as well as a small included snack window here. So you have little croissants and little breakfast items throughout the day. Very nice, and a stop that I make every cruise. And make sure you grab a coffee card. They'll stamp it every time you buy a coffee, and after the 5th one, you get a free one. And I brought that back on other Disney cruises, and they've honored it, so it's really nice. So the last food stop here on Deck 11 is going to be Frozone's Treats. And so this is going to be your upcharge smoothie station. They also have Dole Whips. You can add rum to Dole Whips here on the Disney ships, which is pretty fun. And then you have Mike's Ice Cream. So you have all of your included soft serve ice cream here. Many different flavors going on. I had chocolate, vanilla, and then even banana, which is pretty fun. And I loved the floor here because Frozone obviously going to keep things frozen. And then Mike is actually going to be melting everything because he's a mess. So they definitely made that happen here in terms of theming. Again, lots of details that matter on board these Disney ships, especially the Disney Dream. So we have the pool deck here again. And I just wanted to show you from the deck area here what it looks like. You do have funnel vision right behind me. They'll play Disney movies all day, every day, and into the evenings, which is really fun. You have the Mickey pool with his outline here, which is really nice. And then just beyond that is Nemo's Reef, which is for the kids that are not potty trained. My 2-year-old son absolutely loved it here. They have a small slide for them off of Mr. Ray. It's just really nice. Now we'll head down to the lower decks, but first I want to stop by our cabin and give you a full tour of what a deluxe family veranda stateroom looks like. So we did have an extended balcony. We were really lucky. And these rooms are slightly larger than the typical veranda cabins. And I just love the designs of all of the cabins on board Disney ships that we've stayed in. It's fit our family of 3 perfectly, including a pack and play. So plenty of room there for everyone. And they do these split bathrooms, which is really great for getting ready for all of the events that you have on board the Disney Dream. So you have one bathroom here right as you enter. That's going to have a sink and the toilet. And then you're going to have another area that's going to have the shower, a bathtub, which is a rarity on board ships, but you have a lot of families on board, and then another sink and plenty of storage for all of your toiletries and things like that. And I will be remiss not to mention the amazing shampoos, conditioners, and body washes on board Disney ships. It just smells amazing, has its own fan group, so don't miss out on using those. So even if you do have 4 people in this cabin, there's even a shower curtain and a thicker curtain to provide even more privacy for someone who might be showering while someone's using the sink here. Everyone has their privacy. It's really amazing. I'm 6 foot tall though, and my head was almost touching the very top of the ceiling there. So tall people may not enjoy this shower experience on board. A tip is maybe just go use the showers over in the fitness center. Those are included and able to use even without a spa treatment, and a lot of people don't know about that. The showers are just a little bit taller there. Plenty of closet space here as well, safes. You do have a lot of hangers for all of your fancy clothes. They do have formal evenings on a lot of sailings. Those are typically optional. And then some more storage in the room. You have a little area for setting down any sort of cups or any sort of items that you don't want to forget as you leave the room. Drawers there, and then we make our way to the queen size bed. Now, unlike a lot of other cruises, these are true queen size beds. These are not twins put together, and they cannot be separated. So that's a very big note for people sharing cabins. But this couch does fold down into a single, so it's going to be nice and comfortable for a lot of different family groups, and they really thought through these cabins in a big way. It makes use of this relatively small space when you compare it to a hotel room in a big way. So you have that swivel television there too. You can watch it from either side of the room, and you have a big curtain separating both the regular bedroom from the living room area, so everyone has a ton of privacy. You have a bureau with your continental breakfast ordering if you'd like. So we booked a guaranteed cabin on board this voyage, and we lucked out with an extended veranda, which is really awesome. Doesn't happen every trip. Basically, Disney will assign you any veranda cabin that they might have unsold. And so we got lucky this voyage, which is really fun. Lots of room here. You see the taller decks above as well as the bridge. We were very forward, which is really fun. So overall, we can't complain at all about this room. So now you have a full tour of that. And then on these floors as well, you will find various laundrettes. So these are all an extra charge, but you have an ironing board. You can't bring that on board, of course, because of fire risk. So they provide one for you. But those are available on most of the stateroom decks. Now, we were on deck 5, so there are a few public spaces on this deck, which I really liked. It made things nice and convenient for getting back and forth to the room when we forgot something. So now we'll head to our first stop, which is the Buena Vista Theater. The Buena Vista Theater is going to be a dedicated movie theater on board the Disney Dream. So they're going to show first-run Disney films. They premiere all of the films the same day that they do on land, which is really a nice savings for a family of 4. You don't have to pay and shell out all that money for a movie ticket, though they still do sell popcorn and drinks and things like that. So you may not get out of there for free, but it is a fun experience on board, and they play movies throughout the voyage and late at night. Right here is the Port Adventures desk, and I really love this area. It's themed to all the fun characters and things that are located all around the world. And that's where you can go and speak to someone directly about an excursion at one of the many ports that you may visit on your Disney Dream voyage. This is our first shot of the beautiful atrium on board the Disney Dream. So we will get to more of that in just a little bit, but it's 3 levels and you come across it all the time here because there's just so much activity going on there in the atrium. Now the Bippity Boppity Boutique is located on the other side of deck 5. And this is where you can pre-schedule a princess makeover or even a pirate makeover. So that's going to be a hot ticket. Book that well in advance of your voyage. This is a similar experience to what they have in the parks. So it is a very popular, very, very popular thing. So I cannot emphasize this enough. If you have someone in your group that wants to do this, book it. Here's another shot of the beautiful atrium on board the Disney Dream. And you will see characters flowing through here at all times of day. So be sure to consult the Navigator app and they will show you what time and where all the characters are appearing. But on this deck is one of the sign-up areas for the Mickey Mouse Detective Agency. It's a fun little scavenger hunt throughout the ship. All the pictures come alive and you solve a mystery with them or the Muppets, which is fun. Next to that is the It's a Small World nursery where my son spent 1 hour during our voyage, which is really nice. But he enjoyed the It's a Small World theming here. It's very cute. And that's going to be next to all the other amazing kids clubs on board the Disney Dream. So first up is the Oceaneers Club, and this is for kids ages 3 to 10. So there are a number of different constellations on the ceiling here, very Disney themed. They have open houses that anyone can go and visit during this, which is really fun. The ceilings are a lot lower here, as you can notice from this video, because the kids are smaller and they want them to feel welcome. You have the Star Wars Millennium Falcon area. So this is like the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. You can actually steer it. This was a big deal when this premiered. This was before Galaxy's Edge when the whole attraction was here, but still a very immersively themed environment for all the Star Wars fans of any age. So you can come in here during open house if you're an adult and check it out. You have R2-D2 and other friends around. Next is Pixie Hollow, which is aimed at some of the Tinkerbell friends from that franchise that was big a few years ago. So they've kept this area. It's very highly themed, pretty fun, definitely geared towards more of the girls in the group. But they do a lot of different activities here, I know. They have a whole stage set up as well. And then they also have Andy's room. And Andy's room is set up more for the younger kids. They had a lot of toddler time in here. This is very cute, though not as big as the Andy's room I saw on the Disney Magic. The mobile web workshop is themed to Spider-Man, and it's one of the newer areas on the ship from the dry dock. They have Spider-Man meet and greets here, but that rounds out the tour for the Oceaneers Club. Now, next door is going to be the Oceaneers Lab. The Oceaneers Lab is going to be for the older kids in the group, though they still have these open houses that anyone can come in and check out. So the Oceaneers Lab is going to have some science experiment areas. They're going to have a lot more of the exploration theme to it. It's going to tie into the Society of Explorers and Adventurers that you can see throughout the Disney parks, which is fun. So the first area is the Playmation area, which I'm honestly not too sure what this actually is. I think this is kind of left over from a consumer products thing that doesn't really exist anymore. Though let me know in the comments if I'm completely wrong here. A little common area with a fun play floor. Then you have a little artist area that some people were enjoying during my open house that I walked through, the craft studio. And then you have restrooms that are themed to all the Disney characters in Pirates gear, which is pretty fun and on theme for a cruise through the Caribbean. Lots of video games, of course, this being older kids, some movie screens that they can play Disney movies at. And then you have a very fun exploration center that they do experiments throughout the cruise and even for all ages, which is really fun. They did like a volcano experiment on one of the cruises that we were on. But a lot of cool nautical theme here, kind of feels like an engine room at some points. You have the Animator's studio, so you can learn how to draw some of the characters, which is very, very fun. They do this for adults too in the adults only sections on the lower decks that I'll show you in just a bit, so stay tuned. And then next is the Explorer's room. And so this is going to have a fun little area to navigate a ship. And so you have these fun steering wheels and you can try and dock a cruise ship. So it tries to teach the kids a little something about steering a ship while on board a big ship. And then you do have the media lounge, so they'll show movies and things like that in here. So overall, a big space for the kids. Obviously, the kids love it. And it's a lot of fun for everyone involved during these open houses as well. Now, right outside of the Oceaneers Lab is one of my favorite details on board the Disney Dream, and it is Pepe the Muppet's own cabin. It's 5148.5. It's a little bit involved in the mysteries that you're trying to solve that I showed you earlier, but a lot of fun. And so down below all this is the district, and this is going to be the adults only bar district on board. It's going to be hopping in the evenings, though they do have a lot of activities during the day as well. So the first bar that we're going to check out here is, and this is located deck 4 all the way aft. And so this is going to double as a nightclub as well as a big game room. It fits a lot of people, so that's always fun. While I walked through, they were doing a silent disco, but it's got a fun butterfly theme, and they have these cool lights that can change colors in here. I really like this area. I didn't know if I was going to really like the theme when I learned of it when I was researching the ship for this voyage, but overall I really did enjoy it in here. So in the evenings they will do a lot of game shows in here, and it's a lot of fun, and of course they do have a bar. It's got its own menu of cocktails as well, so if you're someone who likes to try all the different cocktails on board, definitely don't miss this bar. So this is one of my favorites. This was a surprise favorite of mine on board the Disney Dream. So we'll make our way to the other bars here in the district. You'll notice that the carpet is completely different here. I would always look down on any Disney ship that you're on, especially the Dream, because the carpets are amazing and all very custom, and they're all on theme. I really love everything about this ship, if you can't tell from this long video. If you made it this far, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. What's your favorite detail so far on board the Disney Dream? But this area does open up at 10:30 at night for a small buffet for some late night bites. But this is outside of 687, and 687 is the sports bar on board. They're going to play a lot of trivia in here, various games. They do have a few beers on tap, as well as, of course, cocktails. So I spend a lot of time in here. I'm a big trivia fan, so do not miss the trivia on board. They have great medals, and they also have a few different board games. Now, this area is open to all ages at certain points, and some of the other bars are as well during the day, but in the evenings, typically it's going to shut down completely just for adults. And the name 687 comes from the whole name for the Disney Dream when they were building it. So a little bit of background info, which is fun. Just outside of that is the District Lounge, and this is another bar that they're going to have a bunch of live music at during the evenings. It's going to have Learn to Draw, different Disney characters for the adults. So it's not a gigantic space. It does get quite busy when there's a fun act. But right next door to that is going to be Pink, which is the wine and champagne bar. I didn't spend a ton of time in here, but it's got a very fun, whimsical theme. And you do have the pink elephants from Dumbo in here, which is pretty fun. You got to look for those in the bubbles. They do have their own champagne just for Disney Cruise Line from Tattinger, which is pretty fun. And this is going to lead into the Skyline Bar, which is another adults-only bar on board the Disney Dream. So basically, you're going to be whisked away here at the Skyline Lounge to one of 4 different destinations like Hong Kong or Paris or New York. And you have different cocktails to match that. They have iPad menus. This was a very fancy concept when the ship was launched. Overall, I feel like this bar is a little bit dated because there's just so many cool experiences that are available in the Disney parks now that just feel a little bit more immersive than what are obviously just TV screens that change to the different cities, though I do appreciate the effort, of course. Now we'll make our way down the hallway here to some of the all ages sections on board, including probably the most popular lounge for families, and that is the D Lounge. Now the D Lounge is going to feature all of the family-friendly games throughout the cruise, different presentations as well. They have these awesome LED screens that I believe were added in the dry dock as well. Do not miss hanging out in there. It's very, very cool. Next door to that is going to be Carriage Jewels, and this is going to be the ship's high-end jewelry shop. And then finally is Shutters, which is going to be where you purchase all of your family photos on board. They do have a photo package, though fair warning, it is quite expensive on board the Disney ships. And you can, of course, buy single photos as well if you want to get a memento from your cruise. So this passes through the atrium here on the middle level. We're making our way back. They do have a Shutters portrait studio as well, so you can have some private family photos taken. And there are 2 levels to enter the Buena Vista Theater, so this is the lower level of the theater. And we're making our way forward here to the Walt Disney Theater. Now they do have a small snack stand here that you can purchase all of those popcorn buckets, a lot of them that you can see in the parks. Sometimes they come to the ships early, which is pretty cool. So if you collect those, you might be in luck. But the Buena Vista Theater is just an amazing aspect of the cruise that I think is underreported for people. So you can really save money by going on a Disney cruise by not buying all this expensive movie tickets. Now, the Walt Disney Theater is going to feature a show or entertainer each evening. So they have 3 production shows on board. They're absolutely fantastic. Do not miss them. Cannot film them, unfortunately. But there is a full promenade deck here on Deck 4 as well. You can walk all the way around the ship, which is kind of a rarity for some of the newer ships out here. It's where you'll find shuffleboard. And then you'll also find a few secret entrances here for some of the teen clubs like Vibe and Edge. So you start here on Deck 4 and it actually leads up to Deck 5 forward. And they have their own spaces that they can get away from their families and kind of hide out. And they have tons of activities going on. They'll do flash mob things going. I really love the entrance to Vibe especially. It's got this kind of Epcot Imageworks reminiscent thing, which is pretty fun. So all the colors going off like crazy. They have some open houses in here as well, so you can go check out some of the games that they got. They have a fun dance floor, a little smoothie bar, lots of cool hangout areas for the teens just to chill out. And they even have their own sun deck. They have their own pool. So all the teens here are well taken care of. The sun deck, unfortunately, was closed during every time I came into these spaces on the voyage. Not sure if it was open for the rest of them. So now we'll make our way down to Deck 3 and begin our tour here. Diamonds and Wishes and Whitecaps are connected. So this is going to be Whitecaps first, and this is your handbag shop, sunglasses, that sort of thing. And then Diamonds, of course, going to be your high-end jewelry shop. So of course, there's a lot of retail experiences on board any Disney cruise, and they do cycle through different merchandise throughout the cruise sometimes, which is really fun. They have exclusive merchandise just for the ships. Sea Treasures is a spot that you're going to find a lot of that stuff. It's going to be more general Disney cruise line paraphernalia. So it's going to have all of your different apparel. It's going to have magic bands. It's going to have shirts, things like that. Next up is Mickey's main sale, and it's going to be more of your kid items, lots of toys. You're going to have different pin sets going on. So lots of different fun things to buy, plushes. You can also find some things that are themed to the port, like they bring in some of the merchandise from Epcot's Mexico Pavilion for our cruise because it was visiting Cozumel. I thought that was kind of fun. So a lot of different shirts and things like that available here. Just beyond that is going to be guest services here on Deck 3. So this is where you'll handle any inquiries you might have, billing disputes, that sort of stuff. And I love the board behind them because they move around the different Disney ships from wherever they are on Earth. So you can always check that out, which is pretty fun. But this is going to be a big area, very busy on the last day of the cruise. Everyone wants to settle their bill correctly. So just keep that in mind. Try and visit on the off hours. It is open 24/7. On the other side is going to be Bon Voyage. This ended up being a pretty favorite bar of mine. They had a lot of different beers. They had good cocktails going on. I liked the theme, kind of a very vintage theme to it. Very fitting of the atrium that it exists in. Don't miss the various photo ops featuring some really fun mosaics from, I believe, Cinderella. I believe these are from like Cinderella Castle. These are recreations, but I might be completely wrong on that. And then we're making our way to the atrium finally, which is a big focus of activity. Lots of fun events here. You have this beautiful chandelier. You're going to have princess events here throughout the cruise. And we're going to show you all of that in our review of our cruise itself, all the things that we did on board. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned to the channel. A big photo op is going to be Captain Donald here in the atrium. So each Disney ship is going to have a different figure here. And Donald is on board the Disney Dream. I love all the frisee here with the fun-loving Disney characters on their beach vacations. And then just off the main lobby is going to be our first rotational dining restaurant. This is Royal Palace. So this is going to have a princess theme to it. There's going to be some glass slippers adorned to the chandeliers here. There's going to be really fun tile work being done as you walk in. So it's going to have that royal theme to it. It's got a French-inspired menu, which is really pretty good. This is one of 3 dining venues that you will cycle through on your voyage, sometimes twice if you have a longer voyage. Very, very nice spot indeed, though no show or anything like very entertainment-wise here. Some of the newer ships definitely taking that to another level. Here on board, there's really just one restaurant that features that, Animator's Palate. We'll take you there next. You have this long hallway that leads to Animator's Palate. So it's going to be a big area of the ship that I believe the galley for these 2 restaurants is going to be located in between there. But at the very aft part of the ship is going to be Animator's Palate. And this is going to be something that's featured on 4 of the Disney ships. And so on the Dream Class ships, they actually have a Turtle Talk with Crush style experience here. Most of the restaurants are going to be themed to how Pixar creates their films versus the animated films, which I quite liked. I liked how they had a different spin on it. Our son was actually able to talk to Crush, which was a big thing for him being only 2 years old. Absolutely loved it. So a very fun theme in here. I really like the menu in here as well. And it felt a lot bigger than the one on the Magic that we had experienced before. So definitely look around at all of the details on the walls and on the shelves. They have lots of hidden details to all of the Pixar films that are probably some of your favorite movies ever because they're all so amazing. The restaurants changes around its lighting throughout the meal, and there's plenty of entertainment on all of the screens around you, kind of these viewing windows out into the ocean that you're sailing on, which is really fun. Finally, the third restaurant is going to be located on Deck 2. We'll reach that in just a second. There is one area for DVC conversations, so you can come in here. They were offering $50 just to come in and get some pricing, which I definitely took advantage of. I recommend you doing that too. Easy to say no on board and get a free $50. But the stairs from Deck 3 lead down here to the Enchanted Garden, which is the third restaurant here. It's got a Parisian theme to it, sort of Versailles going on. This is my probably least favorite themed restaurant here on board. I'd like the menu though. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought. But overall, it is a garden theme and the lighting does change throughout your meal. But I felt like this needed some sort of show or some sort of just entertainment aspect to it to make it truly enjoyable, but they do have this nice fountain here with Mickey Mouse, which is really fun. And then overall, that's going to be the tour. We're going to end here on deck 1 just with a shot of the health center, but thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.